Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Let's get started. Have you ever felt like your health is a constant game of whack-a-mole? One symptom pops up, you knock it down. Another one takes its place. You're doing everything you're told, taking the medications, following the diets, trying all of the different remedies, but nothing seems to stick. It's exhausting, isn't it? Well, here's the truth. Chasing symptoms is like trying to mop up water without actually fixing the leak. Until you uncover the root cause of what's going on, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. But it doesn't have to be that way. Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, where we're redefining health and empowering change. I'm Dr. D, and today we're diving into a topic that really could completely shift the way you think about your health. The root cause revolution. Yes, in this episode, I'll show you why symptoms, they're just the tip of the iceberg, and how addressing the root cause can transform your health, and what simple steps you can actually start taking today to begin your own revolution. So, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's awaken your wellness together. Let's talk about this idea of root cause, because it sounds fancy, doesn't it? Like something you'd hear in a medical journal or one of those health documentaries, with lots of dramatic music attached. But really, it's pretty simple. The root cause is just the why behind what's going on with your health. And let me tell you, your symptoms, they're not the bad guys here. I know, they're annoying. They get in the way, they stop us from living life the way we want to, but symptoms are really just your body's way of waving a little red flag and saying, hey, something's not right in here. It's like when your car's check engine light goes on. Do you just cover it up with a Band-Aid and call it a day? Of course not, because you know that light is trying to tell you that there's something deeper that actually needs your attention. Otherwise, you know what happens? The car breaks down. It's no different with our body. But that's exactly what we're doing when we focus on treating the symptoms. We're slapping some kind of Band-Aid on the light and hoping for the best. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, you guys. And, medications do this a lot of the time. And I'm not bashing medications here, not any stretch of the imagination, but just imagine for a second, right? Let's say you are on high blood pressure medication, or you know somebody who's on high blood pressure medication. So they take their medication. What happens to their blood pressure? It comes right down. Well, what happens if they don't take their medication the next morning? It goes right back up again. Now, the medication did its job. It brought that high blood pressure back down, but it didn't actually correct the problem. And herein lies the issues. Now, I want to be clear. Treating symptoms inherently isn't bad. Sometimes you need quick relief, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're constantly putting out fires without actually figuring out where the sparks are coming from, you're just going to end up exhausted and frustrated with more and more fires and the fire never going out. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're dealing with migraines. Maybe you pop some ibuprofen, maybe even get a prescription, and sure, it helps for a little while. But what if the real issue is something like a food sensitivity or a hormonal imbalance or stress? If you don't get to the root cause, those migraines, they're going to keep going and keep coming back. And that's like that one relative who always shows up uninvited to family dinners, just like that. the beauty of addressing the root cause is that you're not just managing your health, you're transforming it. When you figure out what's really going on, you can actually fix the issue at its source and create lasting change. And trust me, there's nothing more empowering than realizing that you don't have to be at the mercy of your symptoms anymore. You can be in the driver's seat of your health. So, what exactly are the root causes? Well, stay tuned. We're going to get there. We're going to dig into that next. But first, let me tell you why most of us have been stuck chasing symptoms instead of getting to the root cause in the first place. Okay. So let's talk about why. Most of us have been playing this symptom chasing game for way too long. It's not entirely our fault. I mean, the whole system is kind of set us up for this. You see, conventional medicine is amazing for certain things. If you break a bone, if you have a serious infection, or you need surgery, it's life-saving. But when it comes to chronic health issues, things like fatigue, digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, sleep issues, the system falls short. It's designed to put out fires, not figure out why the house keeps catching on fire in the first place. This is where the true wellness framework comes in. Let's break this down because this will help you understand how we got stuck and, more importantly, how we can get unstuck. Okay, so T, tune into your body. Let's start there. When we're in the symptom chasing mindset, we completely ignore our body and what it's trying to tell us. And believe me, your body is always talking. It whispers with things like bloating, fatigue, mood swings, before it starts to scream, with bigger health issues. But what do? We grab the antacid, we pop the painkiller, or we guzzle some coffee and keep going. It's like your body's waving a little flag saying, hey, pay attention to me. And we're just like, shh, I'm busy. I got to do things in my life, right? Tuning into your body, it actually means slowing down and listening. And I know that's easier said than done when life feels like a constant sprint. Oh my goodness, I've got 4 kids. I run a practice. I do this podcast. I'm writing books. I know what it's like, But the truth is, you guys, if we can learn to pause and check in with what our symptoms are trying to say, we can actually start to move away from this cycle of treating symptoms over and over and actually start looking for solutions. So that's the importance of T for really tuning into your body. And you guys, in this day and age when we are all over the place and we've got social media, we never even have time to sit and think for ourselves because oftentimes, how many of you find yourselves scrolling? It happens. But we need to actually tune into our body, feel what's happening, understanding what's going on. That's the T in the true wellness framework that I am known for, right? The next one is R. So R is about really reconnecting and rebalancing, noticing the natural rhythms. I mean, let's be real. Modern life has us completely out of sync with how our bodies are designed to function. We're up late scrolling. We're eating food that comes out of a box. We're running on stress like it's some kind of fuel, right? Our natural rhythms, things like sleep cycles, hormone balance, digestion, they get totally thrown off when we live this way. And what happens when those rhythms are disrupted? Yep, you guessed it, symptoms. I mean, here's an example. Stress is a huge disruptor of your natural rhythms. When you're stressed, your cortisol goes haywire. That then throws off everything from your digestion to your sleep to your hormones. And yet, instead of addressing the stress, we grab some melatonin to sleep or antacids for the digestion or caffeine to power through. Do you see the pattern? We're treating the symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. And I'll tell you guys, I'm a huge fan of supplementation, right? I take supplements on a daily basis. And for those of you who have been searching for answers, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to use the medication, but then you've got this drawer full of supplements, and you're not even sure what they're for, but it's like you've read somewhere that they were good to have. And you guys, that's the whole other thing is I find that so often, too often, right? All of the clients who come into my practice, they're like throwing darts at the dartboard, trying to hit the bullseye. They really want to feel better. So they're, scrolling Facebook and finding out, hey, this supplement might be good for this. Or, they hear from their friend, oh, try this. Or they're trying to lose weight and then they've tried this and then they're injecting themselves and this, that, and the other. You guys, it is about getting to the root cause. When we get to the root cause, we actually create the resolution. And that's what's important for us. Okay, let's go to you. Uncover the root. So R was reboot and rebalance, right? We've got to get to that place where we are rebalancing all the different organs, glands, and systems in the body. One of the things I love is a very gentle food-based detoxification to do that. But let's talk about getting to the root cause. Let's talk about uncovering the root. This is really the heart of the True Wellness framework. Getting to the root cause, and let me tell you, it's not always straightforward, right? Root causes, they can hide in places you might not think to look. For example, in my practice, we deal with things that are called interference fields, right? They are physical scars, injuries, and traumas to the body. And the truth is, nobody is thinking about potentially the injury they had to their knee when they were little impacting their kidneys today. Or nobody's thinking about the broken nose that they had when they were a teenager and how that might be impacting their digestive system. Well, the truth is, you guys, your body's like one big energetic system. So the minute you have that kind of physical scar, injury, or trauma to the body, it's like a wire and the body gets cut. And now everything on that wire, kind of like your Christmas lights, right? One light gets broken, the whole string goes out. It's no different for our body. So we really have to pay attention to what these underlying root causes are. So let's say, for example, you're dealing with chronic fatigue. The root cause, it might not be just one thing though. It could actually be a combination of different things. Maybe it's poor nutrition, stress, maybe toxins that are in your environment. And here's the thing, those roots, they're all connected. When you actually start to pull on one, you often discover all the others. And the beauty is, once you start addressing the root cause, everything else begins to shift. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the power comes from, you guys. This is where we begin to make a difference. You see, your body, things don't just operate by themselves. They are all interconnected, right? So it's not like we can say, oh, okay, Sally, your digestion, it's awful. Maybe you're constipated, you're moving your bowels every other day. We can't just correct the digestive system without actually having benefit in other places. Like now maybe Sally's sleeping better, right? Now maybe she's actually able to release weight because her bowels are moving. She's becoming less toxic. She's eating the right foods now. She's getting in the fiber. Maybe we've corrected the interference field at the nose, for example. So these are all different pieces that we want to fit together, okay? So that the uncovering the root causes is the part of the U in our True Wellness framework. So let's talk about E, right? Because, you guys, we want to go from symptoms to solutions. So E is empowering your mindset. And the truth is, okay, the way we think about our health, it matters. If we believe our symptoms are just something we have to deal with, we're never going to look deeper. I always tell, a lot of times when I present, I use the analogy of the fleas in the jar. I don't know how many of you know this, but if you actually took fleas and you stuck them in a jar, you then put the lid on the jar, those fleas, they would bounce up, they'd hit their little flea heads, right? And then they do it again, they hit their little flea heads and again, and eventually those fleas will stop jumping as high as the lid of the jar. And so what you could actually do is take the lid off the jar, and guess what? The fleas are staying in the jar. And I feel like that's a lot of where we are with our health. We're just like, oh, we'll deal with it, right? Oh, we'll deal with it. We're never going to look deeper. When we're empowering your mindset, it means shifting the way that you approach your health. It's not about putting up with discomfort. It's about uncovering the why and taking action. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming at first, but remember, small steps create big change. And when you start thinking of yourself as the detective of your own health, because that's what you are your own science experiment. Instead of being the victim of your circumstances, when you have that shift, it's a game changer. So, if you've been stuck chasing symptoms, know this. It's not your fault. We've all been conditioned to think this way. But now that we know better, we can do better. The True Wellness Framework gives us the tools to break free from this cycle and really start addressing the real issues. Okay, up next, we'll dive into how to start thinking like a root cause detective and what specific steps you can take to really get started. Because trust me, you don't have to stay stuck in symptom chasing, forever. So let's skip that mode. All right. So now that we've busted through the myth of the symptom chasing and we've talked about why it happens, let's get into the fun part. How to think like a root cause detective. You see, here's the thing about root causes. They don't usually show up waving a big obvious sign. Nope. Instead, they hide under the layers of habits, patterns, and even emotions. It's kind of like peeling an onion. You've got to dig through the layers to find what's really going on. So let me share with you 4 areas where root causes love to hang out. Think of these as your starting points for investigation. Number 1, diet and nutrition. What you eat is either helping you heal or adding to the problem. It's that simple, you guys. Processed foods, sugars, artificial ingredients, etc. These can all contribute to inflammation. And this is at the root cause of so many health issues. But here's the kicker. Even healthy foods can be a problem if they're not the right ones for your body. So, for example, let's say you've got a sensitivity to dairy or gluten. It doesn't matter how organic it is, it's still causing trouble. So that's why it's important to tune in to how your body reacts to what it is that you're eating. Okay, number 2, stress and emotional health. Stress is sneaky, you guys. It can show up as fatigue or headaches or even digestive issues. And we might not even realize it's the cause. Emotional health plays a huge role here too. Unprocessed emotions, traumas, or even just the daily grind can take the toll on your body. How many of you, just like me, are living in this fast-paced world trying to get all these things down? We've got, the information age is great, but we have more information coming at us all the time than we've ever had before. We have higher expectations of ourselves and others. And so we forget to breathe. We forget to relax. We forget to calm down. Some people forget to sleep. Let me say this, right? Self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. Addressing stress and emotional health, it's one of the most powerful ways to uncover and heal the root causes. And so it is vital that you take the time to pay attention to those things, because you guys, we often forget. We think about our minds and our bodies as completely separate. And yet they're not. They are absolutely connected. And if we're under a lot of emotional stress, we're carrying around a lot of emotional baggage, carrying around a lot of trauma, we're highly reactive, this will take its toll on our health. So that is the second place where you can look for root causes. Okay, number 3, toxins and the environment. Environmental toxins are a big one that often gets overlooked. Think about the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the products that you put on your skin. I mean, your body has to process all of it. And if it's overwhelmed, those toxins, they can actually build up and create issues. Sometimes we're not even aware it's happening. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to live in a bubble, but small changes like using natural cleaning products, vinegar, for example, and baking soda are what I use to clean my home, right? Or filtering your water, go up to a reverse osmosis and add minerals, right? Take a step above the typical Brita. But these things make a huge difference. The less we expose ourselves to, the better off we are. So yes, you guys, we've got to pay attention to cleaning up the toxins that we're exposed to in our food, in our water, in our air, and the things that we put in our skin. We often take for granted that just because something is for sale and we can purchase it, right? Like Skittles, right? Or a lot of the beauty care products themselves, they're just straight up toxic. And by the way, I do love the Environmental Working Group. So you can go to their Skin Deep database and look up any of the products that you're using. It's www.ewg.org. www.ewg.org. E like Eric, W like William, G like George, Environmental Working Group. There you go. .org. Love their site. A lot of great information, including on the water, on your body care products. They've got the dirty dozen for the dirtiest fruits and vegetables in terms of, pesticides and herbicides that are used on them. And then they've got the clean 15, which are the cleanest ones you can buy. The ones that you can buy with them not having to be organic and so save you a little money on your budget there, even though the farming practices are different. So buy organic when you can. But okay, you guys, let's go to number 4. Okay. Number 4, this is another underlying root cause typically is your lifestyle and movement. You see, our bodies, they were designed to move, to rest, and recover. But if we're sitting around all day, if we're skipping our sleep, if we're constantly pushing ourselves without a break, we're throwing our natural rhythms out of balance again. And from when we talked before, the R, when those rhythms are off, symptoms start to pop up. So think about how you're moving your body and how you're resting it. And are you giving it what it needs? One of my favorite things to do, you guys, too, is get out barefoot and connect with the earth. Grounding has been scientifically proven to reduce inflammation in your body. So take your shoes off, take your socks off, and go stand barefoot outside on the ground. I encourage you to do this. It makes a world of difference. It's an excellent way to start your day. All right, you guys. So these 4 areas, diet, stress, toxins, and lifestyle, they're all interconnected. They all influence each other. And when you start addressing one, you'll often see improvements in the others. So in the next section, I want to give you some really actionable steps that you can take to start uncovering and addressing your own root causes. So let's get into it, you guys. Okay, so here's where the rubber really meets the road. It's time to take action. You don't need a degree in functional medicine to start uncovering the root causes. You don't need to be me, right? You need some curiosity and a willingness to really experiment. So here are 4 steps to get you started, okay? Number 1, ask why until you can't anymore. What do I mean by that? So let's say you're tired all the time. Start by asking yourself, why am I so tired? Maybe it's because you're not sleeping well. Then ask, well, why am I not sleeping well? Well, maybe it's because you're stressed. Then ask yourself, well, why am I stressed? Keep going until you hit that root cause. It might feel a little like being a toddler asking, why? Parents, you know what that's like, right? But trust me, this simple exercise, it can reveal so much. So take the time to do it and keep unpeeling the layers till you get to the true root cause. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, start tracking your patterns. Grab a journal. Start writing down your symptoms. Start writing down what you eat, how you feel emotionally, even how you're sleeping. over time, you'll start to notice the patterns. Maybe your headaches always show up after a stressful day, or maybe after eating certain foods. This isn't about being perfect. It's about getting curious, right? Looking for the clues, because when we do that, we might be really surprised about what shows up. And for those of you who are looking for weight loss, they have scientifically shown that if you are tracking your food, you are more likely to lose weight because you're paying attention, right? And this paying attention is really important. It goes back to the T in our True Wellness framework, right? Tuning in, paying attention. Okay, so that was number 2. Let's go to number 3. Make small shifts. Now, you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with one small change, like maybe it's just drinking more water. Half your body weight in ounces of water is your goal. Add more whole foods to your diet. Aim to have, at least 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 servings of vegetables a day. Start where it is comfortable for you. Maybe start by taking 5 minutes a day to breathe deeply. One of my favorite hacks that I love is, sometimes I'm going throughout my day, busy, not paying attention to things, and I forget to really breathe deeply. So stop signs and traffic lights are my knowing that, okay, it's time to breathe. Every time I got to stop at a traffic light, every time I stop at a stop sign, I breathe in through my nose, out through my nose, and it makes a world of difference. All of these small shifts, you guys, they add up and they can give you the momentum you need to tackle bigger and bigger changes. And get support. Sometimes you need an outside perspective, whether it's a functional medicine practitioner like myself, or a health coach like we have on our staff, or even a friend who can help see what you might be missing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. The truth is, you guys, I will tell you that 99% of the clients who come into my practice, they have been trying to do the DIY thing forever, right? And they end up frustrated and annoyed and not getting the results that they're looking for. So having someone by your side is really, really helpful. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. All right, you guys, these steps might feel simple. I get it, but they are powerful. And when you actually commit to uncovering the root cause, you're not just improving your health, you're taking back control of your life. Taking back control of your life. Now, I want to leave you with this. Your body is on your side, even when it's sending you symptoms that feel frustrating or overwhelming. It's doing so because it wants to heal. Those symptoms, they are messages. And when you start listening, incredible things can happen. I've seen clients completely transform their health by addressing the root cause. And I've seen people go from chronic pain and fatigue to vibrant, thriving lives. And I know that's possible for you too. So here's your challenge. Start looking at your symptoms, not as problems, but as clues. Get curious. Start asking questions. And remember, every step you take towards uncovering the root is a step toward your true wellness. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of True Wellness with Dr. D. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who really need to hear this. We'll be digging in to more in our next episode. With that, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to stay in action. And until next time, listen to your body, trust your intuition, and awaken to the power of true wellness. This is Dr. D, reminding you to tune into your body, reconnect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you next Thursday for the next episode drop.